Hey everybody, it's Nick with Ridgeback Rides, and we're at Motorcycles at Dulles, and I have some really exciting guests today, Louise and Shawn from BMW, and we're here to talk today about, I think, a bunch of topics, starting with
Amway.
Amway, great. So we're going to teach everybody how to become an Amway sales representative. No, really, we're here to talk something about motorcycles, particularly off-road motorcycles.
Yeah,
So.
Yeah, I think something maybe a lot more addictive than
adventure
cleaning
motorcycles.
products
It's just,
and
just saying adventure.
Adventure, lots of adventure.
Adventure.
Well, why are you guys in town? What are you doing at Motorcycles at Dulles? Because I know you guys travel the whole country. So why don't we start with why are you here, and that'll probably launch into.
Well, I'm going to answer that question with a question for you, which is, how did we first meet you?
Okay. So it was in 2022.
Yeah.
And I knew nothing about riding off road. I was always on pavement. I was terrified of going even off the pavement into like dirt.
Under the shoulder.
Like terrified,
yeah.
literally terrified.
Yeah.
And I was driving a Scrambler at the time, and it had, like 80-20 tires. And then Motorcycles at Dulles promoted the clinic, the beginner clinic, and it was in a place, like a 20-acre place at the time, and it was safe space and controlled. And I met you guys, and I fell over a lot, and I got over my fear of falling and driving on muddy, disgusting grass in the rain, and that's how I met you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
We provide safe spaces.
We do.
We really do.
We do. And education. And that's why we're here this weekend with Motorcycles at Dulles, is we're running another adventure riding clinic over the course of the weekend. We're going to have some bikes out in a big grassy field and doing the same thing. Lots of bikes falling over.
Are we
lots
out
of
in
bikes
Middleburg again, I think, this year?
We're
in
Marshall.
Marshall.
Yeah, Marshall,
Okay.
Virginia. Really
Consider
cool place, like the horse property.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Well, there's a bunch of horse property out there, but that's what they let us use. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, so for the record, too, I've taken a clinic every year for the last 4 years since the first one, right? It's been great because you guys do basic and advanced, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so at one of the clinics that we had, where it was on a much smaller piece of property, we had someone come and take class with us.
Okay.
And he said, well, I know a great spot where you guys could teach and maybe do an intermediate level. Because
Yeah, he's like 99 years old, too.
He is not.
No, he's not
But
that
he
old.
is in
He's
his
a really
he is
nice
in his
guy, though.
70s.
Yeah.
I think he's 76.
No, he's
now?
super in his 80s.
Is he?
Yeah, 100%.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Anyway, he had a great time and became such a fan that he brought us out to the place where he lives.
In Marshall?
In Marshall.
That's
and
great.
so we use that space. And
It's
it's
a great
really,
property.
It's
Yeah.
a great
Yeah,
property.
yeah.
It allows us to have a nice flat spot to do easy stuff on the first day, get people really sort of into the riding and
Kinda
getting
warmed up.
over that, and getting over that
anxiety.
initial fear of leaving the pavement. And then the next day we get to do things as you've experienced, like hills and off-camber stuff and a little bit of drift skidding.
The
and that
off-camber
kind of thing.
things, it's an acquired taste. But
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys will talk about
It's
that. What
yeah.
people should expect.
Well,
so.
it's when we first started doing this, there was always a giant gap between I'm interested in learning to ride off-road maybe, and I want to spend, $2,000-$3,000 to go to a school to learn how to ride off-road. And that's the gap that we set out to fill. And what's so cool about it is that we're not promoting anything. Like, we just teach for the love of it. Like, we're not telling you, like, if you like what you did with us, come see us in our facility at such and such. It's like, nope, this is what we do. Come on, enjoy it. It's very inexpensive, relatively speaking. It's a great way to dip your toe in the water, as you know.
And you could do a beginner and a little bit next level on the same weekend when you guys are here? Is that right?
Yeah.
Is that right? Everybody
Yeah, we
understand that?
typically on Saturday do the beginner level, and then the Sunday continues from where we left off.
It's
on
like more
Saturday.
beginner, really. Like,
Yeah,
it's not
yeah.
advanced. It's
No.
like, there's just fundamental things you have to know how to do in order to ride most off-road. The clutch control, the throttle control, the braking. And the Sunday, if we have the right facility, we can introduce those elements into hill climbs and descents, and, as you know, off camber, and learning to brake the tire free when you want to, that sort of thing.
Yeah, or even just go, you get stuck in a hill and you have to go, you have to move forward, right?
Get moving,
You get stuck.
yeah.
And that,
Right.
like, you really take for granted how hard that is until you start to build that muscle memory, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, and that's one of the very first things when we teach hills is that we teach how to get started again on a hill, because we know from lots of past experience that we're going to have students who will stop on a hill and go, oh no,
I know.
oh
Yeah.
no. how do I get started again? So it's
Or
one
just
of the
fall
first
over.
things. It happens.
Yeah.
So it's fine.
Yeah, or if you're a sponsored rider, you just leave your bike there and call BMW, send you a new one.
Now, do you need, speaking of BMW, so you guys are with BMW, do you need a BMW to take these classes at motorcycles?
No, it doesn't. As long as I can go off road.
I don't believe you had a BMW.
I
when
didn't.
you
It was a
first-
little bit of a loaded question. I knew the answer, but
Yeah.
for everybody who's listening, I just wanted to make sure that
Yeah.
hey, don't leave with the impression you need a BMW. Although I have two now because of our friends, because they did wear off on me because the bikes they had were awesome and they let me try them when they were there. But you don't. I started on a Triumph Scrambler when I first met you guys.
Which is a great
great bike.
platform.
Great,
Yeah.
great, yeah.
Yeah, we super love that
And,
bike
and
too.
that's really how we get introduced intimately to other manufacturers and their adventure bikes, because we just don't have the time to get out there and ride all of them. But you learn to understand who's making what and what to love about them, because there's a lot of great bikes out there.
Yeah, that day I think there was a Harley, there was a Suzuki, I had a Triumph, my neighbor had a Kawasaki, and then a whole bunch of BMWs, obviously. But yeah, it was a pretty mixed group of
That's pretty typical.
Yeah,
manufacturers.
that actually is really pretty typical of who we see on a regular basis when we are doing riding clinics, no matter where we are in the country. People show up on every make and model of adventure or dual sport bike. Occasionally we get a couple of like small dirt bikes and we're like, okay, well, you're going to go off-road, so here we go.
Here we go. So how long have you guys been doing this? Like, obviously come here, do you travel the country, travel the world doing these for BMW?
Yeah,
Like,
we do.
could maybe people be interested a little bit to hear about that?
Well, we cover a lot of things for BMW. So in the seasons that we can't teach, we do product knowledge trainings for dealers. So we learn about product before it comes out from BMW, whether it be a motorcycle or riding gear or what have you. And then we go to the dealers and we teach them about it so that when it does come out, they have a base knowledge of the product and they're not on the same learning curve as people that are walking into the dealer asking them questions.
Right. So they get the knowledge you have ahead of time. So when I walk in, new Scrambler, they can answer it really with some authoritative, like knowledgeable answers.
Yeah. What's the story with this? How does it work? Why does it work? And that's fascinating to us because anytime a manufacturer comes out with something new, they always have their sort of method of letting their people know about that product. And we like to take what knowledge they provide and tweak it so that we would maybe call it Americanize it.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Yeah, because some of the knowledge it's really, really important for them to know and drive home in a way that maybe it's not being driven home in the product knowledge information. And some of it just doesn't exist. Why did they develop a motorcycle or a suit the way they did? Who was responsible for it? What was their headspace when they were making it? I find that stuff really interesting.
Yeah. I mean, as an owner now of BMW, I'm pretty fascinated with the engineering. And then I do look at the bike and go, that was really well thought out.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things on these motorcycles that are super well thought out.
Yeah, like the guys that developed this bike, the F900, for example. Like we know the guys, and they told us like when we were developing this, it was the same time they were developing the 13, and we would literally go over and see what they're up to on their side and say, oh, that's the direction they're going. Well, we're going to make ours go down.
We're going to do the complete opposite. We're going to make a whole different bike over here.
On the 900.
On the
So you guys
900.
kind of got that ahead of time, get some of their thinking and what they're, how they were approaching the two platforms.
Exactly,
Yeah.
because otherwise it's just a bike that might be visually striking, might be interesting to ride, but when you know the story, it fulfills a whole new dimension to the machine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as you know, since you now have a couple, these bikes have an incredible amount of just things in them, right? So there's a lot to learn, especially if you're like coming to BMW as a new BMW owner. There's a whole lot to learn about those bikes. So with us being able to have the knowledge ahead of time, get the dealers up on it. The other thing that we get to do, which I don't know if you've been to one of our events here, but when the 1300 first came out, before they were in the country, we had one and we were able.
One.
That's exactly
The white
right.
one, yeah.
You totally
On the
remember.
trailer.
So
It's right here. We all took pictures on it.
that's right. Everyone sat on it, took pictures on it, and that was a couple of months before we were actually able to get them into the country. So it gave us a chance to take that bike around and let people see it because everyone's seeing it on social media.
It made such a big difference. Again, I never understood. So I'll be honest. I never understood why people bought the GS. I rode Indians and Triumphs and Japanese manufacturers my whole life. And I'm like, what's the deal with? And then they let me take some tests. So they're really good here at Motorcycles to tell us about letting you take test rides. So I took a 1250 out for a little bit, and I'm like, okay, I get it. And then you guys showed up with the 1300, and that was just in a whole different league. Like it was really was pretty special when it first came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but to see it compared to being online, because online, to your point, I couldn't tell the difference between.
Yeah.
Why is it different than 1250? It's just a bigger motor.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was so much
No,
more.
it was so much more.
Yeah.
It's such a wonderful motorcycle. Like it does everything.
Yeah.
Like when you were saying the different things on the bikes, I was thinking the word range. Like they have incredible range. Not range like distance, but range of things you could do with them.
No, like we refer to it as the Swiss Army knife of bikes.
That's perfect.
Right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Because
The Germans probably wouldn't appreciate that analogy.
Oh,
but
yeah. Oh, maybe not.
just saying.
Fair point, well made.
Yeah. Oh well.
What would we call it?
Between the two of us, that's,
Yeah.
that's what we call it. Because like we of course ride it off road.
Yeah.
But you can take this bike around the world. You can take this bike to the track.
Which we've done.
We do that too.
Yeah, that's a good time.
Good time.
You're talking about the GS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
See, that's pretty
It's
impressive.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Okay. Like there are certainly better bikes for the things that we
Oh, yeah.
do with it, but if you could only own one bike, then
Yeah.
that's the bike.
The 1300.
The GS in
GS
general.
in general.
Really,
Yeah, just
like
the
that.
GS in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just does a little bit of everything.
I saw a guy in a 1300 on YouTube with street tires on the track, and I was just blown away.
Oh, yeah.
And there were comments. Everybody in the comments were like, "This is the best BMW promotion ever," because
It's cheating
nobody
on the
would
track.
think of the bike to go do that.
It is
right?
so easy to ride on the track. It's compared to riding a real sport bike, which is obviously more capable.
Sure.
But you have to have a lot more talent to push a sport bike the way sport bikes can be pushed. You don't need that much talent on a GS. You can ride.
No.
If you're a beginner and you're with other beginners, you'll wipe the floor with a sport bike
And
rider.
I really am a novice on the track. I've been on the track maybe five or
times,
six times. Yeah. So not very often, but our most recent track day, which was a few months ago, we went out and one of the California Superbike School coaches came
That's
up.
one of the best schools in the world, by the way. Really, really
California
good.
Superbike
Oh,
School?
yeah.
Yeah.
Good
it's
time.
It's
Where in
so
California
much
is that?
fun.
It's everywhere in the country.
Everywhere.
Oh, interesting.
It's actually sort of a misnomer, California Superbike School.
It should be called the International Cornering School.
Oh, is it
'Cause
really?
that's what they do.
Yeah.
So they just do it at all different tracks around the country.
Yeah.
They come here. They do a
It's Summit
Virginia
Point,
track.
maybe. I don't
They
know.
do
VIR?
VIR.
VIR,
That
yeah.
would make sense. Yeah.
Which is such an awesome
That's
track.
such a great track.
Yeah, so I was out on the track and one of the coaches came up to me and was like, "Do you want some coaching on this next session?" And I'm like, "Yes, I do." Because we believe in teaching, obviously. So I will jump at the chance at some instruction at any time. And he said, he's like, "All right." He's like, "I'll get with you at some point in the session. I'll come up, tap." I'm like, I'm
you're
in.
in.
I'm in. And it was my last 2 laps in that session with him. And we blew the doors off of
Is it really?
people.
Yeah.
Like,
Wow.
and it's so great
That's pretty
because
cool.
one of the best things about them as coaches is that they watch you for a while, they see what you do, they see what you're capable of, and then they know what to ask you to do to up your level just a little bit. And I felt that as we went around the track, and I'm just like blowing by people on the GS, and I'm like, this is amazing.
It is really amazing that it's that capable, and when you put it in your hands and get a little training, like you could just feel like a superhero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It made me wish I still had long hair, like
So it'd be
blowing out
flowing
that.
on the back of the helmet. That would be fun.
It speaks a lot to technology too, because there's so much tech on all of the bikes from different manufacturers that just do nothing but do their absolute best to keep your tires planted to the ground and give you maximum braking. And if you understand how the tech works, you can push yourself a lot further than you could on a traditional bike, because you can just make mistakes you couldn't make
It's very
before.
forgiving.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a substitute for the laws of physics, and I can personally vouch for the fact that it's possible to crash even with all the tech.
Even
But
with all the tech.
in fact, I crashed my bike on that same track day.
That's right.
Did you really?
Yeah.
I did. Yeah.
Sorry to hear that. But
And,
you seem
and
fine.
he was,
Yeah.
he totally was, and he was on the 1300 Adventure, so like really similar to what's sitting right behind you.
the big.
Yeah, the
1300.
big one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he stood up, popped that bike right back up, and just
Kept going.
Yep.
I had to crash to miss another rider that had crashed.
Oh.
And so it was a righteous fall.
Yeah. a noble fall.
Yeah, exactly. You're welcome.
Yes, I took it to protect everybody else. Maybe we could pivot back to your clinics then. So you're in town. We're going to do a clinic this weekend. It's a beginner and then a little bit more than beginner.
Yeah.
Beginner plus.
Beginner plus.
Yeah.
Like, how do you approach bringing people through that experience? Like, whether new to off-road or a little bit, off-road, maybe it's their third clinic. And how do you balance that with the different participants?
Well, there's a couple of answers to that. When somebody's got off-road skill, a lot of times the things they're doing right, they don't know it's right.
Okay.
So simply by taking somebody and saying, what you just did is exactly what I want, it solidifies that skill. And sometimes it's simply taking a skill that they already know and tweaking it a little bit. Like you're really, really close. I just need you to move your toe a little bit. I need you to move your body, and the benefit is X. And they go, got it.
So it's not just go out and, there's those cones, this is what you're going to do and come back. It's you guys are out there giving people verbal cues and feedback in real time.
Scrutinizing.
Yeah, and we have an entire range of riding skill that shows up. So we have people who are brand new to off-road, like you were the first time you came.
First time, me and my neighbor. Yep.
And and then we have people who show up who've been riding off-road for a very long time, and everyone does the same exercises. But, we can pretty quickly see who already has skill at the most basic level or even a little bit higher than that. And then we know that, okay, the next thing we work on is asking you to tweak this, or we ask you to do this in the next gear up.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah,
so maybe a little bit more speed. Maybe as you're coming to a stop, you have to downshift and you have to do like all of the things. So you're suddenly doing, like every single thing with your hands and feet and body position and everything.
So a little bit
all
out of
in
your
one
comfort
go.
zone, a little in increments at a time, like spoon feeding us the challenge.
Exactly. And for a little over 20 years now, I've been teaching riding clinics. And it used to be that when somebody showed up that had a lot of off-road skill, and you could tell just what they're wearing, what they're riding, how the bike is dirty, you would get a little intimidated. And there's a particular group of people to this day that come into our clinics and they announce themselves in a certain way. Do you know what way that is?
I'm not. Are you telling me? Oh, I know what you mean. Yes. Typically other instructors.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So there's an intimidation factor because we go like, shoot, we're about to teach somebody that has got, maybe they know more than we do.
Yeah.
They always, every single time they learn something. And a lot of times we are like, I thought they said that they were an advanced instructor. Like, oh, okay, well, they got just as much to learn as everybody else.
All right, so people show up at your clinics, they're instructors, they either aren't as good as they claim or they have something to learn. Like it made me think about you. You took a class. I'm sure you didn't announce you were an instructor, but you learned a lot from the instructor.
That is exactly right. We, Shawn and I, so Shawn has been teaching for more than 20 years. I've been teaching for more than 10 years. We still, at least once a year, try and take a class.
Like somebody else's. Yeah.
Somebody else's, especially in something that we don't teach, because for me, I really want to remember what it's like to be new at something and maybe a little intimidated by something. A couple years ago, we went and we took a class in California, down in San Diego. We went to a school called Wheelie University.
Wheelie University.
So we just learned to...
Oh, like Wheelie.
Wheelie.
I'm thinking like, I never heard of a town called Wheelie in that part of the country. So Wheelies. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a little slow.
All we did all day long, up and down a drag strip, was work on wheelies.
Wheelie technique.
And we don't know how to wheelie. Like, that's not our thing.
No, I had only ever accidentally done it.
Yeah.
I mean, really.
That's my other terrified moment is like, I'm going to do a wheelie and just fly off the back because I don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
But, so you guys did a whole wheelie clinic.
Oh, it was so awesome.
It was fantastic.
And it's fun to be scared. You have to dance between the fear of riding and the ego that pushes you forward. Like, you got to have both. If you don't have fear, then you're going to push yourself harder than you should. You're going to get hurt. If you don't have ego, you won't try. So we have to find that balance. We want to be a little scared. We want to be, oh man, this is a little over my head, but I'm going to give it a try. And it's our job as a coach among all is to loan people confidence through technique. Listen, I know this is scary. We're going to walk through it a step at a time, and we're going to get you to the other side, just like we did with the last lesson.
And it's in a very controlled environment, which made me feel very comfortable. And again, back to spoon feed, I felt like you guys incrementally spoon feed and built my skill and confidence, incrementally. And then over, 4 or 5 clinics.
Yeah.
When I get in the wild, I'm like remembering what we did and, then starting to build upon that.
It's not lost on me that you shaved your head to look like me too.
Yes, I know. But I didn't go with the goatee though. I tried pulling it off. It wasn't working.
That's okay. The full beard's nice. We like that.
Yeah.
That's good.
So if I'm more advanced and I took 5 clinics and I'm out and I did the BDR, like coming back is still worthwhile in your opinion?
Yeah. So we tell people that when you're learning to do this very specifically, you go and you take a class. And we're going to tell you maybe 5 things for every exercise that we're going to be asking you to do.
At most.
And And what's going to happen is, like, you're not going to get that exercise in that moment. A couple of exercises later, that first exercise super clicks, right? And then what happens is, as you go through, you pick up certain things that we have taught you. You internalize that, you go out, you do some more rides, you ride the MABDR, whatever it
Or
is.
even just, here in Northern Virginia, we're blessed with so many non-paved public roads.
Right.
Yeah.
Actually, we went out on one in Marshall, like you guys. We went
exactly.
at lunch, right, for
Yeah,
a 20-minute
we
ride. It was
pick
great.
out-
Like, there's all that little stuff you could do for a half hour, an hour.
So
right?
then
Yeah.
when you come back for the next class, those first basic things, now you have those. Those are in your brain, which means even if you take the same class from the same people and hear the same thing over, what you get to do is already have that embedded and learn the other things that we talked about.
Yeah.
Because you can't learn 5 things
No way.
for every single exercise.
Yeah, you can learn
the
2.
first time.
And you sleep
right?
like a baby the first time. Like I went home, I was so mentally exhausted from the clinic, just from learning all these new
beat
things,
you up.
right? Between
Yeah.
my brain and my body and the motorcycle, and
And the reality is there's 15 things we could teach you per lesson, and we have to prioritize. One of the questions we will get from people, like, for example, is like, how many fingers should I have on the levers?
Yes.
And the answer very commonly for us is we don't care. Not that it doesn't matter, but I know that I've got 2 things that I can get you to remember, and I don't want, that's not a top
not the
priority
type,
yet. So there is a time, and it could be that you're doing something wrong that will be corrected by changing your finger position. And in that point, we will push it. But in the meantime, we go like, yes, that's important. But it's far more important that we work on throttle
It's far
control.
more important that we get you to look up
Yeah.
where
oh
you're
my
riding
gosh, if you
to.
didn't say look up once, you said it a zillion times.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
me and
It's the most
everybody
common
else.
thing to
Yeah,
say.
yeah. And then you put these stickies on our motorcycles, or names, so you're able to shout out and my first person.
where you looking?
Yes, exactly. Get those damn eyes up.
Louise wants to get new jerseys. We have custom
yeah.
jerseys. She wants hers to have eyes up across the
That
chest.
would be amazing.
We thought we would make jerseys with the things that we say the most in our
It's one-
trainings,
that's-
and
that's one
eyes
of
up
them.
is number 1.
That's definitely one of them. But you know what? What's remarkable, and it's just Captain Obvious, right? It works.
Yeah,
It just works.
it does, right?
It's fascinating. And as soon as you put your eyes down, you miss the cone.
Yeah. And there's a whole bunch of other reasons too. You put your eyes down for a lot of reasons. It's not just because you're being negligent.
Right.
We're asking you to do things you've never done before. And when you're in your own headspace trying to remember all the things to do and feel the bike as it's doing it, we just tend to turn our eyes off.
Yeah.
And I do it too on really technical stuff. I have to remind myself too. Like I gotta get my eyes up and look because it'll smooth everything out.
You know what got me though in the Marshall property the last couple of times is the cow patties.
No.
I was going and I don't look at it, don't
No,
drift
it's,
there, and I would look at
it's
the big
horse apples.
Is it
It's
horses?
horse
I thought they
apples,
were
yeah,
cows.
yeah.
Whatever it was, a big pile of poop. And I'm like, I don't want to go in there. I don't want. So you look at it, and where do you go? You go right in the pile of poop, right? So.
Yeah. So there's actually a technique for that also, which is you go, oh, there's a pile of poop there. Look here.
Look somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you just go, I'm not going to look at it.
I
I'm not gonna
always
look
slow
at it.
down and wait for you to catch up a little bit.
Yeah, Shawn likes to do that because then he likes to hammer on the throttle while holding the
spin a
brake
little
and like
poop.
and
Yeah,
spin it up
that's
at me.
I ride with guys like that too. It's really unfortunate.
I feel terrible about it every
Yeah,
time too.
Yes.
I
I
apologize
can
every
tell.
time. Hey, Louise, I'm sorry I did that.
He actually does apologize
Now,
every time.
What I never say is that'll never happen again.
No, yes. Yeah, when I went and did the BDR, some of my friends who were more advanced than me, and they were great the whole day. They waited for me, and I did it on the 1300, which terrified me originally. But they were, doing the Shawn thing all day long. It was like just part of the experience.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Is that a dude thing? Is that what that's about? Because
Like all day too, Louise. It wasn't like just once, haha, look what I can do, right? It was like every chance they got.
There's 2 main elements to what we teach, and what you've been through is almost entirely what we would call managing low traction. So we're trying to keep the tires mounted to the ground as best we can, regardless of the level of traction we have. But there's another side to it, which we call taking advantage of low traction, where we're now doing things with the bike that we can't do on the asphalt on purpose.
Okay.
And I think that breaking the tire free and making the rear end become unstable on purpose and then regaining control is a very heady experience. It feels good. Like, oh man, I did it. Oh,
Yeah.
man, I've really got this bike. I'm starting to command it.
Well, because it feels like you have some control over
Right.
what
Absolutely.
you used to feel would be an uncontrollable experience.
Yeah.
Right. So I remember that was, the very first time that I felt the back end of a GS get out of control on a trail, and I was able to actually then control it. I
get
went,
it back in line.
oh, I feel more powerful on my bike now.
And you weren't getting it back in line by like braking. You were getting
Correct.
it back in line by continuing
By making sure my body
path of
position was
travel
where it
and
needed
your
to
throttle,
be. And,
right? Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, I think it's so great. So, I mean, I would encourage everybody, like if you have the chance, either here at Motorcycles Dallas or elsewhere, like do these clinics. They're so
from
amazing.
anybody.
Yeah.
They're so amazing.
Well, not
I mean,
anybody.
Maybe
really,
not anybody.
Yeah, but by reputable,
Yeah.
quality professionals.
That's
because
exactly
it's
There's a lot
really
of-
hard to just go out and try to learn this while you're riding.
Well, it
Right?
can be done, but
Yeah.
there's 50 ways to do everything we teach. Some of those ways are dangerous. Some of them are exhausting. Some of them are both.
And for people who have ridden on road, for many, many years, and then like come to the fun adventure side, which which is one reason why this sport is growing so much, is
yeah.
you can go other places that you couldn't go before,
Yes.
right? By staying on the pavement. So for those people who have a very specific set of technical skills which revolve around riding on pavement, when you leave that high traction environment and you go off-road, you actually need sort of the opposite skills, right?
It is. It's very different.
It
Yeah.
is.
And you have to untrain your brain. It's like I remember
Totally.
untraining my brain on certain things
Yeah.
in order to learn the new thing.
Right.
Yeah. And then you have to reacclimate too. You take a week off if you're a beginner and go back on the dirt. Your skill level is perishable. It's dropped, and you have to go relearn and reconnect with what the right thing. It was a real struggle for me because I had nobody to tell me like, hey man, this is normal.
Yeah.
You're going to struggle with this at first until you really start to build the muscle memory.
And doing it in a controlled environment. So again, back to just my experience, other first riders, because when I got in then the more advanced places, like I'm just going to use the BDR because that was my experience. We did it up in the Catskills.
Yep.
Now I have a narrow trail and all these rocks, and the suspension's doing all kinds of stuff I never knew it could do or seen it do before. And then to my left is a sheer, 400-foot drop off with no guardrail.
Yeah.
Right. And I couldn't imagine learning in that moment.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. Like it took everything to take the skills you taught me to try to apply them best I could. But if I didn't have those skills, I don't know, I would have turned around and went back.
We call it the difference between surviving it and enjoying it.
Yeah.
That's a great way to think about it.
Because I certainly, before I took training, I was able to traverse dirt, but I did not enjoy it. It was awful. I literally would kiss the asphalt
When you get back on it.
Man, why does anybody ride these things off road? This is the dumbest thing you could do. Is they're so big and they're heavy and stupid. That was my attitude.
And tell us, what was your actual first experience on an adventure bike, Shawn?
I saw a friend of mine crash on the street, and it was bad.
On an
bad.
adventure bike?
No,
just
no,
in
he was on
general.
a street bike.
Yeah.
But I was struggling with the fact that I had done all of the things that I personally wanted to do on a bike at the time. I had ridden all of the things that I thought would be difficult. I'd gone on the trips, I've camped off the bike. It was all on the street. And I had bought an adventure bike thinking that was going to be what I would transition into. It's time to start riding off-road. And I was on the street on that bike with a guy that crashed. And when I saw the crash, I just said, that's it. I'm out. It's not fun anymore. Now it's just, I'm pushing myself harder and harder. I had tried taking the bike off road. It was a terrible experience. I was 10 miles of dirt and I crashed 3 times. And I went, I'm not cut out for off-road riding. I think I'm done with street riding and it's time to hang it up. And I just serendipitously met somebody that was running a training school and I took a class and that turned me around. That 1-2 day, and it wasn't like I left and I suddenly knew how to ride off road.
Right.
I was still really struggled with it, but I understood at that point, like there's a lot of potential here. I could have a lot of fun with this.
Yeah. You start to get the, at least for me, it was like the science of it, like, and to see it too, like when you're riding with other people and you're doing the clinic and you see, I see how that's possible now. Not that it is possible, because you go on YouTube and just watch videos and see people tearing it up and go, I know it's possible.
Sure.
But now it's like you have a better understanding of why the bike will let you do that, why the bike won't fall over or do X, Y, and Z. And it starts to make, I think, more sense.
Yeah.
Which is a bit, at least for me, it was confidence.
I think there's another benefit too. And Louise certainly came in at the forefront because, when you started riding adventure bikes, there wasn't a lot of women doing it at the time.
I didn't learn to even ride a motorcycle till I was 35.
Okay.
And
A year ago.
Yes.
Oh, thanks, guys. I learned to ride a motorcycle specifically so that I could go to Alaska, because I had friends talking about we want to ride our motorcycles to
in
Alaska. So I learned how to ride a motorcycle, and my very first what I call big girl bike was a GS. So I
like a big GS?
An F650.
Okay.
So the single cylinder thumper.
Okay.
And I rode that to Alaska and back. And I will tell you,
you rode it there?
I left from my home and I rode to Alaska and back.
Wow,
Denver. Yeah, you were in Denver
Yeah,
at the time,
I was in
right?
Denver at the time. So, so I experienced some off-road on that trip, of course, not knowing anything about it. And the thing was, as I prepared for that trip, I went online. And this was in 2012. Okay, so blogging was big in 2012.
Yeah.
And I went online looking for things written by women who had done this, because I'm new here and I have questions.
I have no idea what I'm doing.
So I went looking and I couldn't find anything. I couldn't find anything on this subject. And I was like, so because blogging was big, I made the choice to start a blog. And I wrote about my experiences. And as it turned out, this is what started a career of me wanting to keep sharing my experiences. And when I finally was able to go and take a class and be part of a class and see how that helped people and affected people, I'm I'm in.
Right.
This is what I want to do.
That's a great origin story.
I love seeing people come in Saturday morning to our clinics and everyone's nervous.
Scared. Yeah.
Everyone's scared. No one's really no one's talking a whole lot. It's kind of quiet.
Kind of
by the time, and by the time we get to lunch, everyone's like, "Oh, hey, that was fun."
That's every single time.
And I'm actually having a good time. And then everyone's talking and sharing their experiences, and seeing that progression over the course of a day or over the course of 2 days that's magical.
So you
for
still
us.
love it. I could tell by you just telling the story that you're still really enjoying it.
Yeah. And when I started and when Louise started, in our own way, we were pioneers in the sport, because there just wasn't a lot of people. For me, there wasn't anybody doing it. And when she started, there wasn't any women really doing it. And now we've seen every size, shape, and age imaginable.
I mean,
we've had over 10,000 people come for training.
That's amazing.
And so everybody out there can find somebody to relate to that can say, I might be scared of this, but somebody that was my height and weight and riding skill and age was able to do it. So maybe I can do it. And that's really exciting, because it's made the sport explode.
Well, back to confidence building, right? I can do it too. I see other people like me, right?
Yeah, I can. I'm seeing someone who looks like me doing the thing. So probably I can too, which is one reason, honestly, why Shawn and I coach together.
Right.
It wound up being a really good fit. I'm almost 5'4". He's 6'4". Between the two of us, people can come to our classes and be like, "Oh, okay. I'm not a 5'1" woman learning how to ride a big bike from someone who's 6'4" and 240 pounds."
Two of those people, right? Because you weren't there,
right? Exactly. And it's not to say that learning from someone who is skilled at it doesn't have merit if they don't look like you.
Sure.
But there is something that is almost immediately slightly confidence inspiring for a smaller person to see a smaller person doing it. There's also something, when you have someone who is tall and similar build to Shawn, when they come in
Handsome.
and they learn
Stunning.
Oh, yeah.
Good team.
It's really what it takes, isn't it? You
Educated.
Obviously, you have to be.
How do you stop him?
The connoisseur.
So,
great things.
just a quick aside.
Sure.
Most BMW dealerships have TVs that play videos, and Shawn is in a lot of BMW videos.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
that get played. And the lucky thing for the dealership is that they have a mute button. I don't have one
You're
of
traveling
those.
across the country now. Not happening.
Yeah, we're together a lot.
Well, I can imagine you're traveling all around the country.
7 months of the year.
Yeah.
Doing these clinics. That's
Yeah.
So, one thing I noticed when people are getting into motorcycling, though, it's obvious. Take a clinic, do a clinic, right? Get some basic skills and build your confidence. But the other thing, and we're here at the motorcycle shop, so it's kind of appropriate. They come in and don't know what bike to buy.
Yeah.
Do you guys have advice on how people might think about an approach? Is it the Scrambler? Is it the 900? Is it the 1300? The 1300 has two, right? The sporty one and the big adventure model.
There's
any thoughts that you guys
there's
share
a
with
core
folks?
when it comes to adventure riding, there's a core question that a person has to very honestly ask themselves, which is, am I going to be more off-road or more on-road? Because nobody makes a bike that is 50-50. You're either riding a street bike that has off-road capability, or you're riding a dirt bike with on-road capability. And this is critical because a lot of things that will make a bike off-road capable make it less on-road capable, and vice versa. So when we use BMW and Triumph as an example, are fantastic examples of very street-oriented bikes that can also go off-road. And so they're very agile on the street. They're powerful. They're long range. They got all the wind protection. They're good high speed, and they can go in the dirt. Where a KTM, by comparison, is a dirt bike first. Right. And it is very capable off-road, and you can get even tricky with it. But when you go onto the asphalt, it's not as comfortable. It's going to have a lot less weight on the front end, so it gets a little squiggly at speed. It could be winding up at speed, and anybody that owns one of these platforms will typically tell you that. So that's the number one question I would ask.
I think you have to live with that, too. Like when I did the BDR, a bunch of the people I worked with had KTMs. Yeah. And you could tell they lived in that KTM, that my motorcycle is this reality. Yeah. Even when we went on road, like we might have rode an hour between trails on road. Sure. You think they would air their tires back up? Yeah. And no, this is what it does. Like, let's do it, right? Yeah. Like, we're going to be there soon, right? Yeah. It was pretty fascinating to me to see the difference in mentality. Yeah. A little bit of my buddies that ride KTMs in particular. Yeah. But anyway.
Yeah, so having that honest conversation with yourself about, okay, what do I really want to have? Mm-hmm. Like I personally, I want to have a bike that will go long distances. I mean, I told you my first trip, first thing I did was I rode to Alaska and back. And then a couple years later, I rode down to the end of South America and back. Now
that first bike though was more of a street bike that went off road. Is that fair to say, or was
every GS is?
Yeah, the GS is
essentially always. There's there are a couple of exceptions here and there. Okay. Quite honestly, the F900 really became this really became an off-road bike.
Off-road more like off-road oriented.
Yeah.
Okay. That will go on the street.
That's as close to a 50-50 bike as BMW's probably ever made.
The 900.
It's pretty. It's unique in its world.
Yeah, and honestly, the R12 G/S is also getting closer. Yeah. It's still definitely
that's the Scrambler, right?
Yeah.
The new Scrambler. Yeah. That's a really cool bike. Yeah. It's not in the shot, but we have one over here. Yeah. But
you keep
amazing.
eyeballing it.
Yeah, because it's just cool looking.
Like it is.
It's really like just like right? It looks like it wants to do fun things.
It does.
And anyway, the other thing is test rides are free.
Yeah.
And you got to ride them. You got to see what speaks to you. And I know at this dealership and certainly most BMW dealerships, you can test ride a bike. And that's just critical to me. And I know that there's manufacturers that don't allow that. And this blows my mind.
Yeah, like,
how
do
you
really
know if it's the right fit?
Super generous with their test drives.
Yeah, you got to ride the thing, man. Like it.
And maybe more than once too, right? Like ride it, try it, maybe sleep on it, come back, try a different one.
Yeah, it's very common for people to be convinced that they picked the right bike based on all the specifications, all the reviews, all the videos, and then they ride it. It's not the right bike. Yeah. It's go like this bike doesn't speak to me. Or maybe the opposite happens. And what's the worst thing that could happen? You're going to ride a cool bike on a cool day that's not perfect for you.
Right.
It's not the right one.
Well, especially that was a nice ride, but maybe I'm looking at something else. Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
We say it in the podcast all the time or just other videos when we're goofing around. Me and my buddies like, is this bike good or not? And we always couch it with, they're all great. Yeah. Like in today's day and age, it's rare you get a motorcycle that's like crap. Yeah.
Depends on what you want.
It's like a bad experience. It is. I think it's fitting what you're looking to do with it, like you're saying. Yeah.
There's no perfect machine. And the reality is that if I had the time and the money, I would own a lot of bikes from a lot of different manufacturers. Right. Because there are some specialty machines out there that they just do it in a certain way. When I go to the Indian area in the back and I see the matte black Scout, I don't even know what size that bike is. It looks so sexy to me. I gotta own that.
Because it comes in cubic inches, and we don't know how to do that.
I don't know any of that.
We don't know how to do that.
That could be a 300cc bike as far as I wouldn't want to stare at it.
No, it's a big bike. It's got a big engine. It's a 1250 if I'm not mistaken.
Is it?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. But that's actually, for us, it's exciting to come to multi-line dealers because there's a lot of bikes that we don't know anything about, and that's fun. Because all it is to us is emotion at that point. Yeah. You see one of the, you were just looking at.
I was just looking at, there's a new, Royal Enfield has.
Like a roadster-ish.
Yeah. And like the Gorilla 450 or something like that.
Oh,
it was like.
Is it Gorilla? Yeah, I think so.
I think that's what it's called. And so I threw a leg over it and I'm like, This is kind of a fun
cool,
bike.
right? From
Yeah.
Royal Enfield.
Yeah.
Right. So there's some unexpected experiences coming out from manufacturers as well, which is really
good for them.
amazing.
Yeah, like CF Moto now is like rocking with their adventure bikes, and that's very important for the industry. Like we need bikes like that. We need people to be able to buy in and not spend $30,000 for their first bike.
That's
They obviously it's not every bike is for everyone. So having that come in, and then at our trainings, people will ride the CF Moto in, and then for fun they'll ride one of our bikes, and then they say, they go, oh, this is in my future.
So that's probably a good segue, right? So we have the big 1300s, probably on road, right, and then some off road. The 900 you just mentioned, designed specifically to be more road or off road oriented, so maybe 50-50. You just mentioned smaller bikes.
Yeah.
So we've talked about this on another podcast. Like the industry has pivoted to smaller bikes that are affordable, entry level. BMW is no different. I wanted to get you, what is this new 450 that's coming fit in your opinion?
Well, I don't think it's going to be a departure from what we expect of GSs, which is to say a street bike first.
Okay.
That has off-road capability.
Okay.
And that seems to be that we haven't ridden it. We haven't even seen it physically yet. But that seems to be the direction.
Because it's not in the U.S. yet. Like I see people,
it's
test driving it
not in the U.S.
on YouTube. Is that Europe
And
or other places?
It's only been in dealerships in a couple of other countries for about, I think, since April 25th.
That's really a couple
25th,
weeks.
Yep.
So recent, very recent.
Very recent.
When certain dealerships, I think it was like Poland, got a few. So they're starting in Europe.
Okay.
So we, of course, know several of the journalists who went for the press launch of the motorcycle, and we know the people who organized the press launch. Right. So they've all spent time, on the bike.
On it, with it.
And what they have said about the bike to us makes me excited.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, you guys excited about it? Yeah, you're very excited about it? What in particular?
So I'm excited to try this smaller version of the GS. If you've seen pictures of it, it looks really
amazing.
good.
Yeah, I mean,
it's nice.
And people who've been riding it off road are just like, no, it really can handle off road challenges. And so I like new things. Yeah. I get really excited when something new comes out, and I want to try it and see if it's something that would be something that I like.
You'd really enjoy.
So,
yeah, we have a sense too that they're going to get the price right in the U.S. too, which is really, and that's one of the reasons that it's taken a little more time to get here. I think is that we have to get the price right for that bike to be successful here, and I think it will be. We don't know what it'll be, but we know the people that are deciding that, and that's very important to them. It's an important bike. There's been a lot of really important motorcycles that have come into the adventure market. Probably the most important bike that's come in the last 20 years, I'd say.
Yeah, the Pan America.
The Harley Davidson.
Oh, is it right?
Really,
that's an unexpected comment from you. Why is that?
So when you consider who the Harley riders are, that brought in a whole new group of riders who wouldn't have gotten off their Harleys to get on a BMW or a Suzuki or a Triumph,
anything,
right?
It has to be a Harley.
It has to be a Harley. So that actually opened up adventure riding to a whole new segment of people.
Yeah.
It's funny, we found out Harley dealers, they didn't even know how to center stand a bike because they didn't have that feature, and we just take it for granted. We don't think about it, but it was a learning curve for them. But this huge influx of adventure riders now come in and say, I'm here with the Pan America, and it's a great bike. Yeah. It's an awesome platform. And then those same people are now going, oh, this adventure riding thing's fun. Hey, what do you guys make? What do you make? What do you make? And now they're spreading out and trying different bikes, which is all the better for all of us.
For the industry at large, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
And Harley knew that coming into, they played in this world quite strategically and very, very well.
They did a decent job too on
they really
their first cut.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Absolutely.
It came out pretty strong as a motorcycle.
Yeah.
For a brand that didn't build that type of motorcycle, right? Yeah, that was a pleasant surprise, actually.
Yeah, and that honestly helped the adventure side of things even more. The fact that they came out with something that was successful, that was well thought out, well made, meant that those people who were trying it for the first time, could enjoy it more, right? They weren't getting on a bike that was oh well, we got
a street bike that they throw some knobby tires on and go, hey, we have an adventure bike.
And it's not the first time that Harley came into the adventure segment.
Oh, is that right?
They did try again. They tried in 2004 with a bike. You remember what it was?
No.
It was the Buell
Oh,
Ulysses.
okay, yeah. So
I don't remember that.
That's when they
I
owned
remember
Buell.
Buell,
So
but
that's-
not the Ulysses.
I forgot that's when they owned Buell. So
Yeah.
I actually, I have a friend, one of the first friends that I had who rode an adventure bike. This was before I rode.
Yeah.
And he had a Buell Ulysses.
Yeah.
And I super love this person. He always has like the bike that you have never heard of.
Yeah.
You know, like, and I'm like, what?
Like the off-brand bike.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's something that's like super unusual. There aren't a whole lot of them that are out there. And he had a Buell Ulysses.
Yeah, it was a wild bike.
Yeah.
It was super short wheelbase.
Yeah.
And nothing but torque. It's like you touch the throttle and the thing was standing straight upright. It's a
I think,
wild
like,
choice.
Like Indian took a crack at it with their FTR with knobbies.
Mm-hmm.
You know, again, it just wasn't. It wasn't. You know, that wasn't what Harley did. Right.
Yeah,
To the
it's-
point. Like that Harley made. You know, built a
They
real adventure
really
bike,
they built
Yeah.
a dedicated platform.
Yeah, they dove
and
all in.
and we're still grateful to them for that. It's been really, really good for us. And CF Moto, I think, is the next really important bike. I think that the veneer of having a very inexpensive motorcycle, you know, it's really appealing, but it also makes people go, okay, now I'm in this segment. What else is there?
What else is there, and how can I ladder up? I think with the Triumphs and the 400 coming out, the Royal Enfields, right? Like everybody,
Yeah.
the whole industry's gone to that 4-ish, right? 450,
Yeah.
500
Yeah.
cc segment, and we all agree we think it's great for the industry because it's bringing a lot of new riders in. 'Cause
Yeah.
Just if it was just affordability alone,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
To get that done, and the bikes are, to your point, like they're great.
They're great bikes.
They're
Yeah.
great bikes,
And
for
it makes
what they are.
everybody be better.
Yeah.
Like you know, if it's competition, I got to.
That's right. That means we now have to step up, you know, with whatever it is
That's
that
right.
we're doing
Yeah.
over here. so.
Competition's good, I think, for us as the end consumers, right? For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this isn't anything new. Like I don't want to show my age here, but like growing up, the bikes weren't 1250s and 1300s.
Yeah.
They were 450s and 250s, and 650 was like
Yeah.
what you started on. Back when I was growing up, would be considered
That was a big bike.
huge motorcycle,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
I'm imagining you young now. You had a mullet, right?
I actually did have a mullet for a little while. It's kind of funny.
I am literally sitting between two dudes.
I was also
who
a
growing
Guido
up
in New
had
York. 'Cause I
mullets.
had that whole DA, but for a little while before that, I had a bit of that mulletish thing going on in Long Island.
So
it's funny.
he's a California
Did you?
coastal boy. He doesn't know what a DA is.
Come on, John Travolta.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Walking down, you know,
Oh, yeah,
86th
totally.
Street in Saturday Night Live. That's
Saturday
that
Night Fever,
haircut.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that did I
That's
say
amazing.
Saturday Night Live?
Live.
Saturday Night Fever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Saturday Night Live. Saturday Night Fever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we have a few minutes left. What's going on with you guys next? Like anything exciting come down the pipe that people should be, you know, looking out for, and where could they find you? And do you have followers? Like, is it like a thing to follow?
Social media.
Louise
we,
and Shawn?
We do a lot of journalism, so we write for articles for various magazines, and we're constantly on the road. If you find our social media channel, you know, if you type in either of our names, we're going to pop up and take a follow. We're trying right now to secure a F450 GS
Okay.
to do another tour with it.
So like you did with the 1300 back? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
in October. We're trying. There's no
trying,
guarantee,
yeah.
but it's a possibility.
And of course, you know, this summer we'll be out at places like the BMW MOA National Rally.
Where's that?
Up in Vermont. It's in
Oh, okay.
Essex
June.
Junction,
Yeah,
Vermont.
that's
So-
in a month.
Is it,
yeah.
That's a BMW hosted like.
So
it's a
that
club,
is
right? It's a big
BMW
club. Okay.
Motorcycle Owners of America. It is. It's actually the largest BMW motorcycle club in the world.
Oh, okay.
And
I think I would know that owning a BMW. See, you learn something new. That's why you got to get involved
Well,
in the community, right? 'Cause
yeah,
you always
so
learn something new.
so we need to talk because
Okay.
if you're not a member, I can give you a free year's membership, and you can get money for training. They
Great.
will just hand you money to go out and get training because one of their
I love that.
One of their big
Yeah.
initiatives is making sure that people are safe
getting
and
trained.
are
Okay.
getting training. So we'll be there. We'll be at BMW Motorrad Days.
That is the event.
Yeah.
That's the event of the year. That's Vintage Fest at Barber Motorsports Park. There's
Okay.
90,000
amazing.
motorcyclists.
Really?
Yeah. It's
Wow.
crazy big, and it's really well run, laid back, good time, good
Like
food.
90,000 motorcycle, like people bring all kinds of things from
Yeah.
all different
It's
years.
racing.
It's just a big. Yeah.
They race by decade there. So they have
Oh,
1980s
really?
era
Oh,
bikes
must be
racing and
amazing.
70s. And they've got a big swap meet for vintage bikes, and they've got test rides and food and entertainment. It is the coolest event I've ever been to.
And-
in
and if
world.
the
Yeah,
idea
it's really
of-
good.
you got to check that out.
If the idea of 90,000 people in one place sounds like terrifying to you, which it absolutely did to
Yeah.
me. It's set up so well. They've now been doing it for 20 years, and there are little areas that you can go to, and it's a smaller group of people, and you can like look at everyone's bikes,
Really
and you can
intimate.
look at all the stuff that's available, and there's good food, and the racing is really fun to watch.
Oh, I got to check that out. It sounds like
Yeah, it's a good
sounds like
time.
time. So, all right. Well, why don't we leave it there for
Yeah.
this time? Hopefully, we'll see you guys next time as well.
Yeah.
Again, we're here at Motorcycles of Dallas. This is Ridgeback Rides. We had Louise, and the lovely Louise, and Shawn, who needs no
you to
introduction.
Shawn.
Handsome Shawn. Thank you very much.
And good luck with the clinic this week. And I hope it's very safe and everybody has a great time as
Yeah.
always.
It was fun
So,
talking with you,
same
Nick.
here. This was fun.
Rock
I've
on.
been
Nice to
wanting
see
to do
you
it for a
again.
while, so thanks for doing it.
Badass.
All right. Awesome.
Good stuff. Rock on.
Cool.